Hey everybody, I hope you are all doing well. Today I want to go over this dropshipping case study I did from growing a brand to 1.2 million in 3 months in sales. And I want to verify this right now. I mean, today we've done around 20,000 in sales. Yesterday we did around 50,000. And then you can see month to date, we've done around 300K. And then year to date, around 1.2 mil. As you can see, we started in mid to late July. So it's been about 3 full months. So yeah, that is the verification. Why am I making this video? I'm making this video because obviously you guys need another dropshipping video. I'm just kidding. There's tons out there. A lot of which I felt starting out were inaccurate and can really demystify a lot of the things that are complex for you, but they lead you into a direction that might not give you the fastest way of success. So I don't see anyone really talking about the way I do this. I want to give a very contrarian, but hopefully a very easy way for you guys to succeed so you can start, living the life that you want. And it's definitely possible to do so. So without further ado, let's get started in this video. I made this document in November, at the beginning of November. At that time, we started in July, and at that time, we had done around 1.2 mil. We're at around 1.9 mil right now, recording this January 2nd, 2023. And the profit margin stayed around the same. I think we're at 290, 290 net since we begun. And there's some lessons here I just want to share because I think they can really help. So the first lesson, the first way I approach this is just looking at the fundamental knowledge and the first principles in dropshipping, specifically in just brands in general. But this is more dropshipping tailored because that's exactly what the store was. I say was because it's no longer that. In 2024, we hold a lot of inventory, different 3PLs, because I'll get more into that later, but we don't only ship to the US. So the first point in my first principles layout is creative. If you think about selling a problem-solving product, maybe a back corrector or something that helps with pain, knee brace, whatever, creating creatives for that is going to take a lot of work because you have to get an actor, you have to get someone who you can film, you have to be able to edit the actual filming itself to be able to make it look good in whichever way you'd like, be able to write scripts. Some of you out there even writing VSLs. So let's just break it down. The creative process for problem solving is at 6 hours of work, right? Now, let's take a broad product, any product, let's just say these glasses right here. If you're doing a broad product that appeals to the masses, and I like to categorize these products as wow products because they essentially sell themselves, right? If you're going into a furniture store, there's tons of sofas, right? Some might be more functional than others, but there might be one sofa that just looks better, and that's why you bought it because it suits your aesthetic. And so, in selling those type of products, they literally sell themselves. So image ads are the easiest way to test them and get them live. Even if you're making a video ad, it's very easy to make a video ad for these products. They don't need an actor to explain them. They're usually self-explanatory. Jewelry is another part of that. That takes a lot less work to make creatives for. So let's just lay the ground breaking fundamentals for that. If you want to make creatives, you want to make a lot of them, broad solving problems, broad products that are they sell themselves based on looking at them. You want to buy them. Those are easier to make creatives for, and therefore you can make more in less time. So that's just the first principle there. Market knowledge. How well do you know that market? How well do you know the consumer? With problem-solving products, that matters a lot more. With broad products, that matters a lot less. Again, just a thing to look at. Product itself, of course, I'm not going to go into how important the product is, but doing the research about the product has helped me identify if the product is going to do well or not. And that's what a lot of people talk about, make sure it's selling, right? Things of that nature. But I would also like you to take the approach and perspective of, well, if somebody starts selling a product, let's say we find a winning product, a product that actually sells well, there has to be someone who found it first, right? There has to be someone who identified it first, and that person is doing really, really well. Why can't we be that person? Why can't we set up systems to be able to find products that can allow us to be that person and allow us to be the first person actually profiting off of this? That idea has long been forgotten because we want to sort of be the second and third so as to not waste money and so as to sell a product that has been confirmed to sell. But I mean, high risk, high reward. If you find a product and you're the first one and you sell and you realize you're the first person to be selling this product at scale, typically you're going to do extremely well. The offer, obviously, that's a huge lever. If you have a product that can be bundled, that can be bought twice, this is a lot better than a product that really can't make good offers for. And then landing page CVR. A lot of people like to just forget about the conversion rate of their landing page, or they don't test it statistically. What I mean by that is they're not testing it in terms of split testing it with the same amount of traffic for a statistically significant amount of time. That's something that you should take a look at. When you are looking for what brand to start, what product to sell, all these things come into my mind because all these things matter over the long course of time. They're not things that matter in the beginning but don't matter later. They're always going to matter. So this is a good example. On the right side, you have a collagen powder that makes you lose weight, which is a pretty bold claim. And then on the left, you have just goth style sunglasses that appeals to obviously goths. So these are just two different types of products, but you can see the juxtaposition that I talked about earlier of problem solving versus just a product that sells itself essentially. Iterative testing is the name of the game. I cannot tell you how many times performance started to decline and things were just not going well. And I thought, okay, well, how much testing am I doing here? Not a lot. And so I continue to recognize that the less testing I do, the worse the performance gets because there's a lot less leverage to pull on. So product testing, niche testing, broad versus problem-solving testing, creative testing, testing things on your site, demographic testing, and then platform testing, Meta, Google, Pinterest, TikTok, all these things matter. All of it matters. And if you're like me and you want to really expedite the process of how you succeed, which I'm sure a lot of people do want to do that, figure out what works and figure out what doesn't and scale what works. But set up a system to be able to test iteratively. Let's talk about niche selection and product selection, right? Niche selection, you have the most common winners that I've ever found and I've seen found are in home, pet, and health. Those are the most common three, for me at least. Beauty is up there, right? And essentially you can sell very well. But the thing about beauty that you should really take into account is that there's a certain demographic that really cares about beauty products, specifically on the platforms that you want to be selling those on, which are Meta and TikTok. Essentially, they're around 20 years old to maybe 35. You can understand the psyche that they're going through. Maybe they want to look good. Maybe they don't have a partner. Maybe they want to really optimize the way that they are perceived, and therefore they're buying beauty products to perceive themselves better. So just getting into the mind of them will help you so much. And this is where market knowledge is extremely important, because when you write the copy, when you write the ads, that's gonna be the catalyst that gets you the sale, right? We have product selection as well, problem solving, identity boosting. Like I was saying before, beauty is very much identity boosting. You're buying these products to make you look better, but then also to feel better. Examples, like I've said here, problem solving, help fix back pain, neck pain, increase confidence, and luxury identity. So you're buying expensive things to identify as someone who can afford expensive things. Country selection, a lot of people, they don't really leverage selling outside of the top 4. If you're drop shipping, you can do this. And by the way, it probably is a lot more profitable if you do this. It might not be easier logistically, but the thing about shipping from China is that logistically, it is actually cheaper to ship to the UK, to Europe, to Germany, to France, to Spain. It'll be cheaper to ship there than to ship to the US. So you will actually get better costs, and you might even get better time frames. So definitely diverse yourself in the countries that you select. This is not a fast game. I've seen guys like start a business and then scale it, or look for trends and try to scale it that way. Or I would never go about it that way at all. The money comes when you sell this business. When you're just making a little bit of money on the side, or when you're scaling it up and you decide to take that out to buy something, you're playing a short-term game there. That's a very, very short-term game. And you can't see the 10 mil, the 20 mil, the 30 mil. You just can't see that because it's so far away. But if you can just stay focused on that, you'll get there faster than you think. And trust me, you're not going to need those payouts from PayPal. You're not going to need that 50K that PayPal's holding. You're going to have a lot more money in the bank because you took the long-term route to this. So setting up the fundamentals, cash flow management, product quality, back-end systems. The approach for anyone starting out is just to go about it slow and steady. Maybe you've been in this game for a while, and maybe you've been rotating different products, different brands. My suggestion to you is build something that matters with brand equity, and then you can sell it later on. People are buying on Flippa all the time, and these acquisitions happen all the time, right? The ones who succeed have a very wide framework for building brands. That's what you need to develop. What I've realized talking to really successful e-commerce entrepreneurs is that they have a wide range of, I would say, intuition in the game, right? So they're not just really good at marketing. They're not just really good at product. They're not just really good at site development. They're very wide. They're very broad. And so if you can increase your mental model for how you see the game at large, broadly speaking, you'll do a lot better. The strategy overview for me was to find the product. I would just use these phrases on Facebook ad library. And then I would also verify them with Google Shopping and Trends. Once I found a product using these phrases, I would verify Google Shopping and Trends by typing in that product into Google. And then I would verify it by Shop Hunter, by using Shop Hunter to see the sales volume. This is very inaccurate, by the way, but you still get to see if a product is selling well. And then I would look at the store design of what is doing quite well right now and see if there's anything I can improve. This is Nomisk, a very popular product, that a brand, and you can see that they have a very, very simple, unique font, unique brand name, unique color palette. The Facebook ad strategy. Very simple stuff. 5 interests, 3 ads, carousel video, static image. I'll do $20 a day. And I am targeting all these countries that you see on this page right now. Currently, I'm targeting even more countries than this. I'll get into that later, but you can run these for a full 2 days, right? I wouldn't run them if they make your break-even CPP or anything like that. Just let them run for 2 full days. When you're just starting out, you just want data, right? You just want to see the data. Know your numbers is really important. Break-even CPP. What is your break-even cost per purchase? What is your break-even ad cart? What is your target ROAS cost per purchase? Your target ROAS ad cart. And the reason this is important is because it's very, very hard to determine if an ad set is doing well or not if you don't know your numbers. You need a benchmark for what you're going to deem as doing well or not doing well. Because most likely in the beginning, you're not going to get a ton of sales. If you do, great, the product works quite well. But you'll be surprised how many products are just kind of floating up and down until you start to get that data, until you start to optimize and things really hit the rail. And so if you're smart, you know your numbers and you'll be able to see that coming. What are we looking for? You want to be at least break even or profitable at $200 spent. You want at least 5 interests with 5 sales at a 3x ROAS, an offer that works. You want at least one of these 3, right? One of these 3. 2 is the hardest. 3 is obviously the biggest leverage. 1 is probably what's going to happen, or you might just lose money. The simple creative and offer testing. So after we've kind of ran some interests, ran some ads in those interests, and we let it run for 2 days, we're going to identify some interests that do quite well. Maybe 1 or 2, right? Maybe 1 or 3. And what I want to do then is I'm not scaling at all. I'm taking the creatives at work. I'm taking the interests at work. And what I'm doing is now testing offers. Okay. I'm testing buy one, get one, 50% off, free shipping. I want to see which offer gives me the most profitability, the highest conversion rates. And I'll make a separate product page on my website, each tailored to that specific offer. And I'll run the ad. And in the ad, there's going to be a copy for that offer. There's going to be a CTA in the ad for that offer. And they're going to push that page for the exact offer. Offer testing is extremely important. People like to just run ads and test for interest. But I mean, again, back to the fundamental knowledge, what actually brings you the most revenue. Testing offers is an extremely high leverage activity to do. What are we looking for? An offer that resonates. High ROAS with a high purchase amount, right? Not an offer that gets a 10x ROAS, but 1 purchase. No, we need consistency. Same with the creatives. After we've done all this, we have an offer that does well, we have some interests that do well, we have some creatives that do well, and this will take time, right? It's not going to all happen after $200 spent. But after we've identified all of this, and at this point we're at least break even, or maybe we're making a little bit of money, then and only then do we start to scale a little bit and really pull the curtain back to see if this business, if this product can provide some really good profits. So what you'll do is you'll take those winning ads and you'll take those winning interests and you'll put them all into the same ad set. So let's say you have 3 winning interests, 3 winning ads. Put that 3 winning interests, stack them in one ad set, put those 3 winning ads, stack them in that same ad set. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll duplicate that 5 to 10 times, each at $50 a day. I have people tell me, why would you duplicate it? You're just targeting the same audience. Look, I'm not going to argue with you about what works on Facebook or what doesn't. I think that I really think that anyone that thinks they figure out Facebook doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, not even Facebook knows what Facebook is doing. Okay, it's an algorithm, and the algorithm is constantly learning. And the model is it's a fluid model. So as you give it more data, it will change. There are ways it optimizes, of course, but it's a fluid model overall. And so I don't try to say what's going to work or what doesn't. I test and I go from there. And every ad accounts, every ad, every creative, things work differently. And so I test with an open mind, and I would recommend you do the same. But stack the ads, stack the interest, and duplicate that 5 to 10 times, depending on your budget. $50 a day. The Rubik's Cube analogy, I think this is good to end on right here. I'm sorry this kind of got to the 20-minute mark, but this is an important analogy. When you are going through the process of identifying if this is a brand that is starting to do well, I want you guys to keep in mind that during the weeks, you may stumble and you may not get to the profitability you're looking for. But as you sort of solve this Rubik's Cube, I use a Rubik's Cube analogy because when you are performing the Rubik's Cube, trying to solve it, each step allows you to unlock a different step that allows you to get closer to the goal. And that's the approach I would have. Instead of saying in the beginning, oh, X doesn't work, therefore this is not going to work out. Think of it as like, what's the next step here? What is the next thing I can iterate on? What is the next thing I can optimize? What is the next thing I can improve? And you can see what happened to me. The first 2 weeks we only made 234 profit. We're probably actually negative on this because we made some investments outside of the business that were for the business, of course, but then the costs weren't associated with what was on True Profit right here. Week 2 to 4,